In this video, we're going to discuss how to write linear equations in standard form. So first, standard form is written like this: ax plus by equals c, and a, b, and c are actually numbers, and there's some very specific constraints that are placed upon these numbers. So first of all, a, it must be a whole number, and a whole number, or whole numbers, are not negative. They are not fractions, and they are not decimals. Okay. B and C, they also have some constraints, but they can be integers. And integers means that they are not fractions or decimals. However, they can be negative numbers. All right, so we have a couple of examples. First of all, we're determining if these lines are written in standard form. So if I take a look at this first one right here, my A is -2, my B is 3, and my C is 4. This one is not in standard form, and it's not in standard form because A is equal to -2, so A is negative. Again, in order for something to be written in standard form, that first number that you see must be a positive number. Okay. Second example, I have 5x plus 6y equals 7/8. This one is also not in standard form because C is equal to 7/8. And A, B, and C, none of them can be fractions, so C is a fraction. Again, we have to have all either whole number for A or integers for B and C. Okay, next example, A is 9, B is -10, and C is 1. This one is in standard form. That one's okay. Okay. Last example, I have 2x plus 3.4y equals 5. This one is going to be a no. And B, in this case, is equal to 3.4. 3.4 is not an integer, it's a decimal. B is a decimal. All right. Next, we're going to talk about some steps for converting to standard form. So if we have a line that's in point-slope form, such as y minus 1 equals -2x plus 3, first step would be to distribute the slope. So for here, we have y minus 1 is equal to -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times +3 is -6. The next step is to isolate the y using addition or subtraction. So in this case, we're going to add 1 to both sides. When we do that, we end up with y is equal to -2x minus 5. So in this case, we're adding 1 to both sides. All right. Number 3, we move the x value using addition or subtraction. So we're going to move the x value over here. So in this case, we're going to add 2x to both sides. And when I do that, if I add 2x over here, I end up with 2x plus y is equal to -5. And I'm now in standard form. I have A is 2, B is 1, it's that hidden coefficient, and C is -5. All right, from slope-intercept form, such as y equals -4x plus 5, we can move the x value using addition or subtraction. So if I start with y is equal to -4x plus 5, I can add 4x to both sides, addition property of equality. I can add the same number to both sides and maintain equality. I end up with 4x plus y is equal to 5, and I'm now in standard form. All right, write the equation of the line in standard form. So in this particular example, I'm given a point and a slope. So I'm going to have to start with point-slope form. So I'm going to have y minus y1 is 8 is equal to m is -1, and then x minus x1 is 2. That's in point-slope form, so now I'm going to need to go to standard form. So I start by distributing the -1. Y minus 8 is equal to -x, so -1 times x is -x. -1 times -2 is a +2. All right, then I need to move the constant over to this side, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So basically here I'm putting it in slope-intercept form. So I have y is equal to negative x plus 10. And then I need to move the x term to the other side, so I'm going to add x, and I'm going to add x. And when I do that, I end up with x plus y is equal to 10. So I'm now in standard form. All right, next step here. I've got 2 points, so I'm going to first need to calculate my slope. So m is equal to y2 minus y1, y2 minus y1 over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 8. 19 minus 7 gives me 12. 5 minus 8 is negative 3, and 12 over negative 3 is negative 4. And I can use point-slope form. Neither of these are particularly easy, so I'm going to go with the first point. So I have y minus y1 is 7 is equal to m, which was negative 4, parentheses, x minus x1 is 8. So then I'm going to go ahead and distribute the slope. So I have y minus 7 is equal to negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 8 is a positive 32. Okay, move the constant over to the other side, so I'm adding 7. So I'm going to slope-intercept form, add 7. So I'm left with y is equal to negative 4x plus 39. And then I need to move the x term over to the left. So I would add 4x, and in standard form I have 4x plus y is equal to 39. Okay, go ahead and turn the page. We might need to do some fixing of standard form. So if or we might have 3 different situations, okay, and so this is how you would fix each of those. So the first one, what do I do if a is negative? And the answer to that is I would multiply all terms by negative 1. So I multiply a negative number by a negative 1, I end up with the same number except now it's positive, so basically I end up with the opposite. So for example, if I have negative 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, I can multiply through by negative 1. So when I do that, negative 2x times negative 1 gives me a positive 2x. My a is now positive. Positive 3y times negative 1 is negative 3y. And positive 4 times negative 1 is now negative 4. So now my equation is in standard form. My a is positive and I don't have any fractions or decimals. All right, second question, what do I do if a, b, or c is a fraction? The answer is to convert all terms to fractions with common denominators and then you would need to multiply through by the denominator. So, for example, I have 1/2 x minus 3y equals 1/4. So I want to turn all of these terms into fractions with a common denominator. So the lowest common denominator would be 4. So this is going to be 2/4 x minus 12/4 y is equal to 1/4. It's kind of the same steps we use when we solve equations with fractions. Make that common denominator, multiply through by the common denominator, which would be 4. Cancels out every single denominator. So I'm left with 2x minus 12y is equal to 1. All right, last question. What do I do if a, b, or c is a decimal? The answer is to convert all decimals two fractions, and then follow the same steps as described above. So you would refer back to what do I do if they're fractions. So I have 0.2x plus 3y equals 2.4. So 0.2, this is in the tenths place. So this is 2/10 x plus 3y is equal to 2 and 4/10. Okay, so this is where it's really important to know place value. I know 2 is in the tenths place, so I can read this as 2/10 x or 2/10 x. It means the same thing. Okay. If you want to, you can reduce those fractions. You don't have to. Okay. So this would be 2/10 x plus 3y is equal to, we want to change this to an improper fraction. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 4 is 24/10. So my common denominator that I'm going to use is 10. So I would have 2/10 x plus 30/10 y is equal to 24/10. Everything now has a denominator of 10, so I can multiply through by 10, which means my final answer cancels everything out. I have 2x plus 30y is equal to 24. The only drawback here is now I have a constant that I can divide out. Everything here is divisible by 2, so I want to make sure that I look for that. So I can divide all my terms by 2. So the proper standard form would be x plus 15y is equal to 12. So if there is a common factor, you want to divide that out everywhere in order to get your final answer. If I had reduced my fractions up here, I wouldn't have had to do that last step. All right, example. Write the equation of the line in standard form. So I have negative 4x plus 8y equals negative 7. Problem right now is that I have a negative a. So I can go back up here, refer to my notes. What do I do if I have a negative a? I multiply all terms by negative 1. So I'm going to take this standard form, I'm going to take this 2 standard form by multiplying through by a negative 1. Negative 1 times 4x is 4x. Negative 1 times positive 8y is a minus 8y. And negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. It's a pretty easy fix. All right, next example, I have a bunch of fractions and I don't want that. So I first need to find a common denominator for 2, 10, and 4. That would be 20. So we put everything into 20ths. Okay, so if I put everything into 20ths, 1/2 would be 10/20ths, 1/10 would be 2/20ths, and 1/4 would be 5/20ths. Multiply through by that denominator of 20, and I end up with 10x minus 2y is equal to 5 for standard form. All right, last but not least, I end up with some decimals here. So I need to make sure I change those to fractions. I have 7x minus, this is 4/10 y, so 4/10 y is equal to negative 1 7/10. Okay, so 4/10 can be reduced. Let's do it this way. Minus 4/10, which would be 2/5, is equal to negative 1 7/10. Change this to an improper, I would have 7x minus 2/5 y is equal to negative 1 times 10. Actually, we hold the negative sign. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 7 is 17. We put the negative sign back in, so it's going to be negative 17 over 10. Find a common denominator for everything. That would be tenths. Negative 17/10 doesn't change. 7x becomes 70/10 x. 2/5 becomes 4/10 y. I end up with negative 17/10. That's my answer. multiply through by 10 to clear out that denominator, and I end up with 70x minus 4y is equal to negative 17. Double check that there are no common factors. 17's prime and 17 doesn't go into 4 or 7, so we're good to go there.